Wisconsin. Today we are going to be discussing two very important issues that are affecting our state's economy. The difficult decision whether to raise minimum wage and the current unemployment rate. So let us just dive right in, ladies, shall we? Sue and Caitlin, what can you tell our viewers about Wisconsin considering raising the minimum wage?
Well, Wisconsin is one of 45 states that has enacted the minimum wage law, especially during this last election for governor. It's been quite a hot topic, but it actually has been discussed long before that.
I guess I'm wondering, Sue, when all this talk on minimum wage really started?
Well, in January of 2014, the Wisconsin Democrats first proposed legislation to raise the minimum wage in Wisconsin from $7.25 to $10.10, raising the annual income for full-time employees from $15,000 a year to $21,000.
Well, that's quite a jump.
I agree with you, Rachel. The Bureau of Labor Statistics 2012 data showed that there are 94,000 minimum wage workers in Wisconsin. Although the increase would take time, over a period, the minimum wage will reach $10.10 by 2016.
So who's all going to have the opportunity to make $10.10 an hour?
You know, most workers will. However, there are some that are exempt from it, such as farm workers, seasonal workers, newspaper workers, and so on. They'll be exempt from the minimum wage law. Also, certain types of businesses are allowed to hire workers, temporary workers, to encourage workers to go there and work for high volume positions that otherwise they couldn't afford to fill. That helps the economy by creating jobs. Along with that are the tipped employees earning regular tips of at least $30 a month. Employees are allowed to then get a wage of $2.13 an hour. However, most employers must pay the difference to the employee if they don't make the $30 an hour on a regular basis.
What about those with disabilities? Will they be offered the new minimum wage rate?
An employer can pay a worker with a physical or mental disability that affects the amount or quality of their work less than the minimum wage. The program was designed so that disabled workers get jobs by encouraging employers to hire those workers.
I guess I'm not sure why raising minimum wage is such an issue. It sounds great to be able to raise the standard of living for those making only $7.25 an hour.
Well, Anya, since 1979, productivity of the American worker has doubled. However, their inflation adjusted wages have declined or remained flat. The economy's grown, but the income growth has not. If the minimum wage had kept pace with inflation since the benchmark year of 1968, it would be nearly $11 an hour. If it kept pace with the gains of productivity, it'd be around $20 an hour.
That'd be nice.
The minimum wage was established in the 1930s as a floor on the wages. The economic rationale is that working people spend virtually all they earn. Since 70% of the economy is based on consumption, raising the wages of those from the bottom will lead to increased spending, economic growth, and job creation. The moral issue, no one should work full-time and live in poverty.
For sure, that's true.
So you're saying that the increase in minimum wage will be good for our economy?
I think it will increase economic growth in our state and in the economy's ability to produce goods and services, reflected by an outward shift in the economic production possibilities frontiering the economic fluctuation. the rise and the fall of the economic activity relative to the long-term growth trend of the economy, which is also called the business cycle.
I think that raising minimum wage could be potentially very dangerous for Wisconsin. There are so many things that will be affected by this. I'm not sure if the good will outweigh the bad.
I don't know, Caitlin. What about those who are trying to support their families and only making minimum wage? Don't they deserve a decent wage as well?
Anya, I don't disagree with you, but the fact of the matter is that only 17% of minimum wage earners are supporting families on their own. So although the raise in minimum wage will help this 17%, it's going to do a lot more harm for those who aren't receiving a raise, but will still be faced with increased inflation.
I didn't realize it was so low.
So Caitlin, how is minimum wage going to affect inflation?
Although the inflation rate will be anticipated, consumers just might not be able to keep up with it. Since employers are going to have to increase their wage expense, they're going to have to make up this expense somewhere else, and they will do that in the prices. So for those of us who are not making minimum wage, we're still going to see an increase in cost of living. And the scary thing is that businesses will have to start closing their doors if consumers don't have the means to buy products. I see major job loss for this state.
I see what you're saying, but do you actually believe that the minimum wage is going to be bad for our state?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's going to be bad. I believe that the amount of job loss and lack of new businesses being able to start up is without a doubt going to be the result of raising minimum wage. If it rises to 10.10, business owners and consumers will be faced with such high prices and a reduction in real income and will collectively pay less in taxes, but may be in need of more federal benefits than they would have otherwise. I just fear for the future of our unemployment rate in Wisconsin.
What is Wisconsin unemployment rate right now?
Well, Sue, as of August 2014, Wisconsin's unemployment rate has dropped to 5.6%, which is the lowest percentage it has been since 2008. Back in 2008, it was at about 4.4%, and the highest it has been since that was in 2010. It was at a staggering 9.2%, and it has slowly been decreasing the last 5 years.
How are these numbers even determined, and who figures all of this information out?
Caitlin, these statistics are published in the Bureau of Labor Statistics monthly in the Employment Situation News Release. It presents a monthly report from the current population survey for the U.S. as a whole, but it also represents each state, and each state is measured individually, as are the state's metropolitan areas. The official concept of unemployment includes all jobless persons who are available to take a job and have actively sought work in the past 4 weeks.
What could potentially affect the unemployment rate in Wisconsin?
Well, one of the issues that affects unemployment is discouraged workers. These are people who have become so discouraged by a long, unsuccessful job search that they have basically given up in frustration. These workers do not count towards the unemployed. Also, about 1/3 of those working part-time would rather be full-time, and all part-time employees are counted as employed. Now, because the official unemployment rate does not include discouraged workers and counts all part-time workers as employed, it may underestimate the true extent of unemployment in the economy.
Rachel, for our viewers, how would you define the basic concepts of employment and unemployment?
Sure, the basic concepts involved in identifying the employed and unemployed are quite simple. People with jobs are employed, people who are jobless, looking for a job, and available for work are unemployed. The labor force is made up of the employed and the unemployed, and people who are neither are not in the labor force.
Do you think the unemployment compensation benefits dropping from 52 weeks to 26 weeks last year will hurt Wisconsin's economy?
Yes, Sue, this will definitely affect our economy. Federal unemployment benefits serve two purposes. They provide a lifeline to long-term unemployed workers, and they increase spending in the economy and create jobs, most pumping money into the economy. This could potentially reduce the economy's growth by 0.4 percent points, occurring at a time when Wisconsin's job growth is already slow. Local economies in northern Wisconsin will be hit particularly hard. by the loss of federal unemployment benefits. That is because unemployment rates are the highest in the rural northern parts of the state.
The minimum wage and unemployment rate have a huge impact on Wisconsin's economy. Wisconsin is currently in the decision process of choosing to increase the minimum wage in one lump sum to $10.10 or to increase it incrementally over time. Since 2010, Wisconsin has gotten back on track, lowering the unemployment rate from, like I said, 9.2% to 5.6%.
Oh, Katie, can you get the door? Ladies, I went ahead and ordered a bottle of wine from the local liquor store. Oh, yeah, please get those glasses for me, Rachel. They now provide a service that they go ahead and deliver when you call for them, just like ordering a pizza. So I had them deliver us a bottle of wine. I thought it was a really innovative way to add labor to the product market. Here's to Wisconsin overcoming the economic hardships when faced with low minimum wages and high unemployment rate.
Cheers!
We are the Workin Women of Wisconsin. Thanks for tuning in.
So you believe that minimum wage is
I
going to
believe that the amount of job loss and lack of new business being able to start up without an
Issues. Yeah,
Well, that's quite a jump.
That's good. Okay.
I don't know about so I was talking to you. Okay.
I'm liking that.
All right.
Make her.
Affect inflation.
Inflation. All right. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. Seriously.
So, Caitlin.
Do you want to do that one again?
I really screwed that one up.
People who. Your brain is just mush.
Slow down.
I just want to be done. Okay.
Just said the effort.
yeah, twice.
on camera.
Got it on tape.
Do not do bloopers.
All right. Sorry, I
Nice.
knew it was coming.
Okay.
Wage in one lump sum. Two 10. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was one lump sum or incrementally. Okay.
Seriously. All right.
Sure. The basic concepts involved in identifying.
Back on track.
No.
So I had them deliver us a bottle of wine. I thought it was a really innovative way to add labor to the product market. Here's,
I'm slow.
that's okay.
I bartend
Thank
on the
you.
side, so you know.
I couldn't tell.
Aside from the show.
Aside from the show.
Oh, with being famous, I wouldn't think that you would have to do that. Here's to Wisconsin, ladies, overcoming the economic hardships when faced with a low minimum wage and high unemployment rate. We are the Workin Women of Wisconsin, and we thank you, Wisconsin, for tuning in tonight. All right,
Let's get
we
drunk.
gotta do that again.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
You want to say the thing, the thing again?
This is grape juice. Don't worry.
I know it's fine.
Okay.
Just came out my nose.
Caitlin's done
See, we
Maybe we
remember
should-
that.
will hurt Wisconsin's economy. I'm done.
Sounds good.
I'm done.
I'm done.
All right. I want to just do this quick and get it
I
done with.
won't
But I gotta move
overachieve again.
all this.